It's no secret that when you buy a premium yacht, you're paying more for it. More for the build quality, more for the craftsmanship, but what are the ingredients that really go into making that premium? Well, to answer that question, we've come to the small town of Oundle, England, to take a look at the factory firsthand and see some of this craftsmanship to show you. When you cut a piece of wood on a CNC router, what you get is straight edges, squared off edges, and for a lot of builders that's good enough, but for Fairline, they have to go to the next step and bring in the curves that the company is so famous for. This has to be formed piece by piece, layer by layer, matching the exact radius. And it's time consuming, and of course, there's an expense involved in that. But it's worth it. The result, when you're done, is nothing short of breathtaking. When it comes time to finish it, we've seen manufacturers that have all the wood go into a conveyor belt, spray on the lacquer, go through a drying area, and then they get put on racks. That doesn't work when you have curved wood. The lacquer won't get onto the curves evenly enough. It's got to be done by hand, and it's got to be done by a skilled artisan. After you put a coat of lacquer on, and then sand it, and put another coat on, and then sand it, and again, till you get the finish you're looking for, it then comes to this polishing room, where everything is buffed out to a nice gloss. Now, of course, no one has the skill to hand lay lacquer and have it come out perfectly smooth. If you look at this in the light just right, you can see it has a bit of an orange peel effect to it, and there's even a few dimples here and there. So before we polish it to its gloss, we have to sand it down and smooth it. Let's take a look at that. The smoothing process takes so many different levels. It starts with 800 grit sandpaper, 1,000, 1,200, 1,500, all the way on up to 3,000 grit. It feels just like writing paper, but it still does the job of making it ultra smooth. Something like a small piece of wood, 9 hours will go into finishing that. You get something like a door, you're up to 12 days because you've got two sides, all the edges, it's much more involved. The maple inlay that we see on the walnut coffee tables and the backs of the doors on Fairline yachts, it's a difficult process to do, and it takes a piece of laminate that is so fragile. It's got to be put down just right, because if you press it just wrong, you end up with it ripping, tearing, creasing. When it dries out, it becomes even more hard, so they have to get it from the manufacturer kept wet so that it's workable. The trouble that they go through is clearly worth the effort, and the end result is such a nice reflection on Fairline. Right here is the engine room of a Squadron 68. Let's take a look at some of this detail. Look at the craftsmanship that goes into this electrical panel. Neat wire runs, orderly, everything done to perfection. Look at the hydraulic hoses. Neat, orderly runs, supported every 8 to 10 inches. In addition to the large propellers, look at the size of these rudders. All of this adds up to the excellent maneuverability around the dock. Notice how perfectly this door is hung. It closes with just a gentle touch. Unbelievable. The joinery work. Straight lines. Everywhere you look, perfectly straight lines. Look at this air conditioning grate. How easy would it be to just simply add a metal grate to this instead of having to do each one of these individual slats? Look at how the wood wraps around. How easy would it be to simply take a beveled cut at 45-degree angles and call it a day? It just doesn't happen with Fairline. Here's another perfect example of where it would be so easy to just make squared edges. But look at the difference. Excellence in craftsmanship doesn't happen overnight. The workers that we saw have been doing this for decades, and in some cases, generations. It's no wonder they've amassed so many awards and accolades. And that's my look at the design excellence and craftsmanship at Fairline Yachts. For BoatTest.com, I'm Captain Steve. We'll see you on the water.